beginning to feel some connection with somebody, even if it was the wrong guy. 2 drinks, 3 max. Except Marco had arrived an hour later than his routine, and I had a long-distance call to make tonight. I wanted to keep the chit-chat short. Marco leaned forward, dropping his voice to a husky whisper. "You looking for someone to do bad things to you?" He really should have brought a wingman, but enforcers are used to being their own muscle. "Buy me another drink," I smirked. "And maybe we'll see how bad you can be." Which was, if the local Vietnamese business community was any indicator, pretty bad. Otherwise, they'd never have become desperate enough to pool their money and hire my agency. The drinks came and vanished. I laughed at all the right jokes and put my hand on his arm at the right time. In less than 15 minutes, we were stumbling out together into the frigid Chicago night. "You got a car?" he asked. The next line would be some variation of, "Mine's in the shop." "Mine's at the shop." Not much for originality, this Marco. "Over here." I led him to the parking lot around the corner, and the red Ferrari I'd rented for this occasion. "Sweet ride," he said, and the next thing I knew, he had me pinned against the side of the car and was clumsily planting his mouth over mine. This is never my favorite moment on a job. I generally prefer to keep people at cattle prod distance, but a girl's gotta make a living, you know. So I pushed back with my lips just enough to keep his motor revving. I was about to break contact when Marco jerked his head back, his eyes narrowing, and scanned the cars around us with a suddenly alert gaze. "Did you hear that?" he said. "Sounded like hissing or something." I blinked confusion at him. "That, maybe?" I pointed to a nearby subway grate from which clouds of vapor were gushing. Marco's brow furrowed in doubt, or confusion. He had the instinctive sense of danger that every natural predator possesses. When he turned back to me, I could see his lust had been dampened somewhat by unease. "Come on," I said, bouncing up and down helpfully. I hadn't bothered to button up my jacket in case I needed to call in the reserves. "I'm freezing out here." Marco's breath steamed out of his nose. Good boy. Then his hands were on me, roaming around inside my coat. I gave him a minute, then pushed him back with breathless effort. "Not here," I panted. "Too many people. Let's go somewhere we can be really bad." Marco scowled, but the fish was on the hook by now, and when I scampered around the car, he got in the passenger seat quick enough. "Don't forget your seatbelt," I giggled, and then we were heading downtown along Lakeshore Drive. The industrial park just outside Gary Chicago Airport would be best, I'd decided. Isolated, with easy access to Lake Michigan. Adding in disposal time, I should be home by 10 at the latest. Then Marco's cell phone rang. I stiffened, but he didn't notice. Just checked the caller, then grunted. "Excuse me, sweetheart. Gotta take this." He tapped the phone. "Hey, Celeste. How's it going, beautiful?" Seriously? He was hitting on some other chick while I was supposedly driving him back to my place? I felt vaguely insulted. "What? Nah, don't worry. I got it all taken care of. I'm telling you, don't worry. I know a guy, okay? You can tell little A I'll pick him up at noon." He hung up, then went back to tracing his fingers up and down my arm as though nothing had happened. Something had, though. I had pretty finely tuned antennae for when things were off myself. "Who's little A?" I asked, keeping my tone light.